Okay, I need to stop starting it all over. I just can't get myself to start. Okay, guys, so um, I'm here to talk to you guys about one of the most requested videos people asked me to talk about, which is my very first pregnancy. I don't even know where to start, and I think I'm gonna call Waleed for support because this topic, that's why it's taken forever to talk about it to you guys. It's such a difficult topic to talk about. I'm like, should I get Waleed? Should I not? It's hard. It's hard to talk about. I'm gonna start. If I feel like I'm gonna, you know, I need him, I'll bring him in. But let's begin. So, when I was 20 years old, I lived in Dubai, by the way. So when I got married, I moved to Dubai. My husband was working Waleed at, in Dubai at the time. So when I was 20 in June of like 2010, I found out I was pregnant. So we were so excited. We had been married for 2 years. And I go and I find an OB and I go to her. We do the ultrasound. I'm starting to get nervous. I just said ultrasound to find out we were pregnant with twins. And I was so excited. It was so nice. And I was just so young, like back then, even we didn't have smartphones. So I couldn't just Google anything or, I feel like I'm talking, but I can't, like, okay. Sorry, guys. Anyways, when I was 12 weeks pregnant, I started bleeding and I was in so much pain, in my stomach. And so Woody drove me to the ER. We go to the ER and they were like, you know what, we're sorry. You lost a baby. And I was devastated, but I think at the time I was like, okay, خلاص الحمد لله على كل شيء. I have one twin left. So, and I was young, like I can't even explain to you what I felt. I was just, alhamdulillah, one is okay. So we go home, everything's okay. And then a week later, I had to go back to my OB and let her know, what happened and everything. So she does an ultrasound and she found 2 heartbeats. So apparently I was pregnant with triplets, and I lost one and I was then pregnant with twins. So it was a twin pregnancy. So I don't even know where to begin the story. So I can't talk. Fast forward to about 5.5 months of me being pregnant, my mom told me you have to come deliver in the US. And I was like, yeah, it's ideal. So I was supposed to leave at 6 months to the US. We booked my flight and everything. And at the time, was it Hajj time? My mom was in Saudi Arabia.
I think it was like a couple of weeks before Hajj or something.
My dad lived in Saudi Arabia at the time for his job, so my mom was visiting him. She was supposed to come through to Dubai, pick me up, and we were going to travel to the US so I could have the girls here. And they were twin girls. So Sunday night, 4 days before I was supposed to leave to the US,
2 nights.
No, I was supposed to leave Thursday.
And then, Sunday.
Yeah, it was Sunday night. So we were at the restaurant. We had a restaurant in Dubai. And my now brother's wife and her family and my sister-in-law were visiting, or they were coming by to say bye to us, or to me. He wasn't going to leave. It was just going to be me.
Like goodbye dinner, or something.
Yeah, and I remember it was very chilly that night. Like, it was cold. It was cold. We were sitting outside, and I go inside to the bathroom with Noura.
كان عندك مغص كأنه
كان
حسيت
عندي
عندك
مغص.
مغص
And I was like, oh, it's from
من البرد.
بالبرد. It's just cold outside. Mind you, I'm 6 months pregnant. I'm 26 weeks. I'm 6 months pregnant. I don't know anything about anything. I was young.
First
I never knew you could even have preterm, you know.
Yeah, the first
preterm,
حبل يعني كيف
yeah.
بدك تعرفي هالشغلات.
I didn't know you could have babies that premature. So I go to the bathroom with Noura, and she heard me like scream, and she's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "No, nothing, ممغوصة. I just have a stomach
ما
ache."
كنتيش انت حتى مفكرة بالموضوع.
No. I had no idea it could be contractions. Like, and that day I had come back from the doctor, and she told me she was gonna okay my travels and to come by tomorrow to pick up the letter that I could take with me to the airport. So in case they stop me and say, okay, you're pregnant, dangerous, whatever. So she's like, you're fine. Same day. I don't even know where we stopped.
قد ما انت جننتيني ما انت. لا مش هيك وما تتذكرش منيح. You don't remember ابصر شو انتوا الرجال بتتذكروش. خلصينا يا عمي وبعدين هسه. عملتنا احنا الرجال شو حجر وما عنا احساس عشان الواحد الزلمه لازم يكون قوي عشان يوقف مع مرته ما يكون هو ضعيف قدامها. يعني تخيلوا انه زلمه يضعف قدام مرته والمرأة عم تبكي وعارفه حالها واقعه ويجي الزلمه هو يوقع كمان فوقها. doesn't make sense. خلاص باي باي. كملي تفضلي.
How do you want me to كمل؟
قطت لك يعني اذا ما عاجبك الموضوع. يلا بس انت عملتيني حجر.
Yeah, you were
قلت لي انت
حجر.
ما حزنت وما بتبكي على بنتك وما زعلت على بنتك وابصر شو. هيك قلت
I
كنت
don't
تقولي
think
لي.
anybody بحس مثل الأم.
طبعا قلب الام غير قلب الزلمه. والام اصلا بضلها تحس بالموضوع لسنين وسنين و too much.
I'm gonna continue the story.
كمل الستوري يلا.
So we go home, and I have contractions, and I didn't know they were contractions. Go to the bathroom.
فكرة عندك مغص انت.
Yeah.
شو عمرك صغير وما بتعرف هالشغلات.
So I thought I was constipated. So I start, pushing. That was just the worst idea because my water broke. And when my water broke, we were young. We didn't know that a hot shower would make things worse. He was like, get in the shower now. I get in the shower. I get out. And I feel something coming out.
That's when you told me like.
I feel something coming out.
Yeah,
I put my hands and it was the umbilical cord.
حبل سري.
حبل السري. So he's freaking out. I'm freaking out. And I'm like.
It was like what time? 2 in the morning ولا?
3, about 3 in the morning. 3, 4
in the morning.
He calls my mom. He doesn't tell me at the time that my mom was like. My mom told you I'm بسقط. My mom told him that I was having a miscarriage.
Yeah.
But I was 26 weeks pregnant, so.
Because your mom, this happened to her and she.
This happened to my mom at 26 weeks as well.
With twins كمان.
She gave birth to twin boys and they didn't make it.
بس هذلوك خلقوا يعني بس ما.
Yeah, but back then it was different. So he throws a habay on me because I was just out of the shower, and he's like, and he carries me and he's like, we're going to the ER. So we're on the way to the ER and I'm still having contractions. My contractions at this point were literally every.
Every 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes.
No, it was literally like every 20 seconds. Every 20 seconds, I was like, ah! I was in the car. And I had something coming out of me. And I just wasn't educated enough about pregnancies and births and any of that. So we drive to the nearest hospital. And that was a nightmare. We get there. I don't even know how to begin. What happened? We get there and then that doctor. Well, they wouldn't let me.
كانت.
They wouldn't let me out of the car. First of all, they said that they don't have. No, مش they wouldn't let me. We go inside, and then we go to the.
عملتي لي تشيك اب وجابوا لك
ولا check up. They put me on a hospital bed right away.
جابوا لك الدكتورة هاي البنت الحلال.
And she was like.
شاهدي عم بتموتي. واحدة بتقول لواحدة عم بتخلف ومرعوبة و she doesn't know what's happening to her, what's gonna happen. بتقول لها اتشاهدي راح تموتي. أنا ما قالت لي لبعدين.
My whole body starts shaking at this point, and
ما عندن شو اسمه.
They're not equipped to deliver.
ما عندن
So,
شو بقولوا
equipment for delivery.
أخصائي يعني.
They don't have an OB to deliver me either. At this point, they were like, well, we can't put you in an ambulance because all the hospitals are, all the beds are at capacity. My husband's like, what the hell are you talking about? She's literally dying, and you're saying, okay, let's just leave her out there to die with, the babies in her stomach. So thankfully his friend's mom was administration at a hospital in Dubai. He called his friend, and they were able to get us. He was actually going to put me in the car by himself and find another hospital. There was a British nurse.
Too dangerous by that time.
There was a British nurse that I think got fired that day because she wanted to get in the ambulance with me. Her boss, which is the doctor,
director تبع المستشفى.
Yeah, he was like,
على ممنوع تطلعي.
ممنوع تطلعي.
I don't care about you. I'm going with her.
Yeah, I need to save her life. So in the ambulance,
دكتور عربي والنيرس بريطانية. FYI يعني. عربي بريطانية نيرس. هذاك دايركتور تبع مستشفى. يعني حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل فيه بقول له ممنوع تروحي معه. ولا النيرس بريطانية.
So she had to come in with me into the ambulance because she had to put her fingers inside of me to keep the umbilical cord from coming out because I was in labor.
This is the oxygen apparently. We didn't know.
Yeah, I was in labor. All I remember is looking at the Emirates Towers, and then I passed out. We were in the ambulance. Yeah, so they transferred me to a hospital, and then I woke up again. They gave me oxygen right in the ambulance. I woke up just to see literally like 15 people around me, and then I passed out again. So I went into surgery, and then you were waiting for me. What happened?
الدكتور تبع مسؤول العمليات بقول لي you have to choose between your wife or your daughters. قلت له ها شو عم تحكي انت؟ قال لي ما at this point ما بنعرف. You can either save the kids or save your wife. قلت له ربنا بيعوض. save my wife شو يعني الحمد لله مرة ترجع بتخلف بس المرة إذا راحت.
So
أصعب لحظة ما كانش يعني معي حدا هناك وكنت لحالي أنا ما كناش متصلين بحدا مش مخبرين حدا أصعب لحظة هيك الواحد يكون لحاله بهيك موقف عدت على الأرض وقول يا رب أدعي بس وقت.
Then I was in there for a couple hours, or I don't know how long did they keep you waiting. I don't know.
Well, I waited for like 6 hours. if not more يمكن كمان. لأنه بعد ما أنت فقت من البنج وطلعت.
They didn't even tell him. They didn't tell him.
قالوا لي وينك وشو عم بصير أصلا. عرب هذا النظام العرب إحنا عنا سبحان الله.
I wake up from surgery and I'm looking around me, and then to my right I still remember there was like a huge clock, and every time I'd close my eyes and every time I'd open them, each minute that passed felt like a whole day. It was.
وأنت مش عارفة شو صار.
And I'm like screaming, but nothing's coming out. I'm like, my kids, my daughters, my daughters.
عن أسبوع.
And I was like, my daughters, and I kept closing my eyes and opening my eyes, and it was a nightmare. And that's when the toughest journey of my life began. I gave birth to two twin girls, Miral and Maya, and they both weighed about a pound each.
تكفي الايد لقدي 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 اصلا كانوا لو ناقصين اسبوع كان ما خلوها
Yeah, they said if they were born at 25 weeks,
لانه
they would have terminated the
بكون عندهم
pregnancy.
شيء يعني سبحان الله.
And I know technology has changed since then, but so what happened afterwards was I was in my room. They wouldn't let me leave. It was a very difficult surgery, and they wanted me to wait 3 days to see my girls. But the next day I woke up and I was like, no. They put me on a wheelchair. We went to NICU, and that's when I saw them. And he actually had showed me videos before, because he went to NICU and he took some pictures and some videos.
Say hi to mama. Say hi to mama. Say hi to mama. Say hi to mama. Mama. Say hi to mama. Yalla. Yalla, say hi to mama. Yes, open your hand. Open your hand. Hi, mama.
I was in disbelief. I was like, no, there's no way, you know. In pictures, it's different. But when I first saw them, I couldn't take it. I just broke down. I was like, is that even possible? Can a baby really be, you know, this big?
Small.
Yeah.
كان كل التيوبس وشرطان طلع عليهم هيك وهن بعدهم بيبي بيقطعوا القلب سبحان الله. tubes everywhere حتى بمنخارهم لأنه
they had feeding tubes, they had breathing tubes.
ما عندهم إشي جاهز، ما إشي كامل. اللنجز تاعتهم مش جاهزة، جهاز الهضمي والتنفس والمش يعني still مش سبحان الله البادي تبعهم مش جاهز ليطلعوا. فسبحان الله كل تيوبس تطلع عليهم هيك الحمد لله على كل حال.
So I would spend each single day of my life driving to the hospital, spending hours and hours with my daughters. We had to wear a gown, wash our hands, and then you could only, I was never able to hold them or breastfeed them or carry them or hug them or kiss them. I would just put my hand through the ventilators, and that was my only connection with them.
And put your hand هيك بس.
Yeah. Then my oldest, Miral, got really sick, so they had to put her in...
separate.
Yeah, they had to put her in...
special room or special
in a different room. They had to... I can't even talk.
أتذكر شكل مرال يا الله لما آخر شيء الحمد لله كل شيء نصيبنا وقدرنا والحمد لله. ضروري تعمل إنسان هالفيديو هسه والله جننتيني هسه رجعتيني لورا.
I visited them every single day. And then after 4 months, Maya got better. And...
got better? They thought.
They thought, that's just a whole nother story. They thought that khalas were able to discharge Maya. So they tested her out in an open room with no oxygen. And then finally she was 1.7 kilos. And they were like, you could take her home. She was still tiny. I took her home. And she was with me for about 10 days. And she was just such an angel. Like, she never cried. She never did anything.
ما بتقدرش تعمل شيء.
مش بس هيك. In NICU, they don't have enough nurses. So babies will cry and they'll leave them to cry, you know? They couldn't have one nurse per child to tend to these babies. So they just تعودوا to be in pain, تعودوا to cry alone, تعودوا to sleep alone. It's heartbreaking. So I would leave Maya with Walid every single day and go back to visit Miral. And then one night, I called Walid and I was like, Walid, ما بعرف ليش, I really want to sleep here today. You can't sleep in the hospital, but you could just sit there all night if you wanted to. I was like, I want to stay with Miral. He's like, no, haram alayki, you have to come because of Maya. You need to be here for Maya. And he was like, khalas, just come home. I was like, okay. So every single day I would say, استودعك الله الذي لا تضيع ودائعه. Every single time I would leave my daughters, I would say that. But she was really sick. She had grade 3 IVH, which means she had bleeding in the brain. She had cysts in her lungs that would release water. And she just had a lot of issues. So that night, Maya was such a good baby. That night she was crying and crying. And they say twins, you know, بحسوا بعض. She was crying and crying and crying, and I was like, what's wrong with her?
سبحان الله ما عرفنا شو مالها وقتها إنه ما فيها شيء.
The next day, I was supposed to go to lunch at my mom's relative's house. They wanted me to come have lunch, and then after that, I was going to go visit Miral. So, they called me, the hospital. I was on the phone actually with their daughter, and I told them, okay, I'm leaving now. I'm just getting Maya ready, and I'm leaving. And I told her, hold on, the hospital's calling. So I answer. And they've called throughout the whole time they were in NICU. Like, a lot of times they'll say, hey, come see your daughters.
Give milk or something, you know.
No, like, they're not.
To take show small.
That didn't work out, though. They said that my breast pump poisoned them. I don't even want to get into that. But they called me and they were like, your daughter's not doing well. You should come now. I dropped the phone.
I mean, we don't know if you're gonna make it on time.
Khalas, I knew. They've called me before and told me the same thing, like 2-3 times before. So, but this time it was different.
You felt it.
I felt it.
This time.
So we're driving to the hospital. Maya's in the back in her car seat, crying and crying and crying and crying, and me and Walid are just rushing to get there. We get to the hospital. And
فوت لجوا بنلاقي 3-4 دكاترة. They're working on her. واحنا واقفين. وقف قلبها أول مرة. رجعت. وقف قلبها تاني مرة رجعت. طلعت لبرا أنا. قلت يا رب. لهي البنت في إلها خير بهالدنيا. يا رب عيشها. اسمها إلها خير بهالدنيا. يا رب خد أمانتك. ريح. رجعت لجوا لقيت زينب وقع بالأرض وخلص قالوا لها اقعد بسلامتك الله يرحمها. الحمد لله رب العالمين.
I had to go, but my husband told me to come back. I can't face, I'm not a weak person, and
الحمد لله كل شيء.
This experience and what I went through losing my daughter has shaped me who I am today, which is why you see me as a very strong person with no reactions, because it broke me.
You know?
It literally broke me. Like, I have no emotions. It changed me. I'm not.
أصعب شيء هو بالأم تفقد ابنها وأنت فقدتي أول ولد عندك يعني هذا أصعب شيء بالدنيا سبحان الله.
So that's the story that I wanted to share with you guys, and this is the first time I've shared it publicly like this. Alhamdulillah for everything. She would have lived a very tough life had she survived.
الله يعين العالم اللي عندهم kids like that, you know. بس هي لو خلقت كان بده يكون عندها كتير مشاكل أو she might never be normal يعني lungs wise, brain wise, a lot of things يعني بقول له الله سبحان الله أنا قلت يا رب إلى خير بهالدنيا يا رب عيشها ما إلى خير يا رب خد أمانتك عشان ترتاح لأنه كانت ولا لا
Anyways,
ورجي كان كل يوم.
I'm done. Are you خلاص? Sorry guys, it's just a very, very hard topic. But I did want to add that the first time I ever held my baby was when she was gone. And the hospital gave us Miral wrapped up in a blanket. And they were like, just take her and bury her, which was a little odd. But we drove to the graveyard and the sheikh allowed me to bathe her. We buried her and that's it. And the hardest part about it all is that she's buried in Dubai, so I can't just go visit her. I can't just go talk to her, and that's what breaks my heart.